Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or morning, I guess. Even if it's not great, it is morning. So this morning I let Zoe out and back in already. Hopefully she will just be happy now and I won't have to go let the dogs in and out, 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 in and out. But we'll see. It is Wednesday, September something. And yeah, it's I was up really late. So this seeming awakeness is all fake, I promise. I am extremely tired. But yeah, we had a little bit of a server problem at CBT Nuggets yesterday, so I did not get the work done that I hoped to get done, but everything is fine there now. It should be great. Everything is going to be awesome. Everything will be awesome. That's what I keep telling myself today. It's supposed to be another slightly warm day. Yeah, actually a little warmer than I looked yesterday. It's going to be a high of 81. I don't love that. Oh no, high of 80 today. Still don't love that. I like the lower 70s is my ideal. Not Celsius. I am not a demon from Hades, but yeah, that's where we're headed today. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. No, yeah, nothing else really planned. We could look through some YouTube comments, but I don't think I got any really good questions. I like that Techno Tim, a YouTuber who I admire, does live streams 3 days a week, and he answers questions. The thing is, he does his live streams more prime time, which makes sense because he's a full-time YouTuber. But also, I think he has questions come in during the week, so I think I'm gonna have to make that a thing somehow. You know, like, hey, do you have questions you'd like to have addressed? You know, join the live stream or send them in, like send questions in. We can cover them. Because I think that's the way to go. Something that, so I'll ask myself questions that I don't know the answer to. So it won't be useful to anybody, including myself. But as I'm learning Kubernetes, there's a few ways to implement it. Now you could do everything manually and, you know, set up servers and then install the packages that you need to install. But there's some like packages, they're like systems that will allow you to set up the full system. One of them that I don't really understand is K3S. It appears to set up a Kubernetes cluster on multiple computers, but what I don't understand is it seems to add another layer of something on top. And I just briefly looked at it. I haven't figured out exactly what it adds, but a very interesting one that I'm probably going to use in my demonstration is it's called Minikube, where it installs everything on one virtual machine, like the master or I don't know if it's called master anymore. That's kind of gone out of favor, so it's probably got better parlance, not like better word usage, but like the control plane kind of thing, and then the worker nodes are all on the same machine. And so it does everything from one, which is not, I obviously don't want to use it for production, but when you're testing things out or like a development system where it's just, you know, you and you're trying to make sure that everything deploys right, it's kind of cool looking. So I think Minikube is what I'm going to use, but I'll probably start using Kubernetes in my own mini data center. And what I don't know is K3S the way to install that? I don't know the answer to that, but I say we have a couple people joined. Hello, good morning. I hope your day is going well. I'm very tired this morning, but trying really hard not to let that affect me. Also, if you were here yesterday, my plan was to play video games, and I even got out a USB cheap like controller thing. But the problem is I can't get the Mac here to run an emulator that supports joysticks, and I had all of like 2 minutes to give it a try this morning. I should have prepped better, but I did not. And so it looks like no video games unless, I use the arrow keys again. But while I could play Atari 2600 Adventure with arrow keys, I don't think I can play a Nintendo game with arrow keys. I just don't think that's legitimately possible for me. So probably not gonna do that. But it depends. If I run into enough of a I have no idea what to say, maybe I'll start troubleshooting that. The problem, one of the issues is with the latest versions of Mac OS, especially the betas, a lot of applications crash, like they won't open properly. And that's really annoying. I should not have used a beta on this, but I really wanted to try that iPhone mirroring thing. And in order to do that, I had to install the beta, and now it just, now some apps that should work don't, and that's annoying. I don't know if it's like just a security thing or if something has changed, but anyway, it is what it is. We have today's garbage day for me. Got to remember to take the garbage out. I'm just going through the list of stuff I got to do. Donna works again today, just the 9:30 to 5:30 shift. And looks like that's it. Yeah, I don't have anything else scheduled. Yesterday was a bit of a crazy day, but not too bad. Today, so I have new. I already mentioned this, but I do have new fishing lures. Still, I don't think that I'm going to be catching any salmon or anything. I just don't picture that in my future. I'm not good enough at catching like normal fish that people catch, and salmon are notoriously difficult to catch. So I don't think that's I'm gonna have success there. But that's okay. I could wear the GoPro when I go down, and then if I do catch something, there'll be like evidence of it. But it seems like a lot of effort, and that's a lot of nothingness getting recorded. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that just for fun. I guess it's a good way to test wearing the GoPro as I do something. I don't know how the microphone works when I'm wearing it on my chest. So yeah, maybe that'll be my experiment today. I will put on the GoPro, and if I go down fishing, like on my lunch break or something, I will. I'll test using the GoPro. I mean, not test using it, but get used to wearing the GoPro as I'm fishing or doing other things, and then see how the audio works. Because I do need to test how that audio works. Otherwise, I need to rig up like an external microphone. But the problem is, I think the newest GoPro model has a Bluetooth microphone feature, but the older ones do not. So I mean, like I have multiple types of Bluetooth little microphones, but there's no way to connect it to the GoPros that I have without using just like a bunch of wires hanging out of both of them. And that's especially fishing. Drop stuff in. Good morning, Vishal. Vishal, is that correct? I don't know if I say that right. But good morning. I'd like to say that, you're just in time for some awesome thing that we're doing, but I don't really have a awesome thing that we're doing. My plan to have a Nintendo video game going didn't work because the emulator won't start, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because I'm running a beta OS of Mac OS, and I tried to make it work, and it won't. Yeah, it just won't even open, which is just sad. Makes me sad, but anyway. I could play something in a browser window again, I guess. But the problem is the joystick doesn't seem to want to work in the browser window. And maybe there's probably a way I could map my gamepad to keyboard keys, but I don't know how to do that. So I feel like that'd probably be just as difficult as trying to make it work. I also have lots of like external game machines. I have the originals, and then I have like the little tiny emulation boxes, and I do have USB capture cards but I don't have any currently configured, so I can't really do that. I guess what I could do is get my little mini NES box and plug that into a USB capture card and then just play in the capture window. That would be, I mean, that would be interesting at least. So maybe I'll do that for next week and like play the actual controllers and like on an actual system. The nice thing about the Nintendo Mini and the SNES Mini is that they use the pirate ROM format like Nintendo did. They use the same format that Game Pirates originally dumped the ROM or the cartridges to ROMs with, and so you can use regular ROM files and sideload them onto the NES Mini or the SNES Mini and play games that they didn't include. Like they didn't have the rights, or for whatever reason they didn't include games on the NES or Mini NES and Mini SNES. You can sideload them on, and as long as they're the standard ROM format, you can play them. So like you want to play Chrono Trigger, you can do that. Even though they didn't own the license to include the game on the system, any ROM that you can procure can be played by sideloading. I just think that's really, really cool. So anyway, maybe I'll do that because I think I have. Yes, I have a Camlink 4K USB, so that would work really well on the Mac to capture that because it has HDMI. I think I can get it to focus. Yeah, see, it has HDMI and USB, and it's the name brand. It just works really well. I have several that aren't name brand too, so that shouldn't be a problem. I could get that to work. I mean, I have a capture card already plugged in because I have a camera that I don't use. So I have the Elgato teleprompter, and it has a camera built in, or it doesn't have a camera built in, but I have actually this is nicer image quality probably than the other camera we were just looking at. So this is the Sony 5200 in my teleprompter, but I could just use the HDMI capture device that comes with that and plug in a video game controller or video game system. So I could do that without even worrying about adding another capture device. But yeah, this camera looks nice, but it's difficult to look up there and there's nothing. I mean, I'm just staring at like a blank teleprompter. So that's not a whole lot of fun. Whereas this camera over here, well, it may not have quite the same like color depth and stuff. It's just easier for me to look at because it's literally just on a stand right in front of my monitor. And obviously it has tracking too if I wanted to do that. And this camera is the Instalink 360, if you're curious, like what kind of equipment I'm using. I need to turn on the air conditioning in my office. I realize I'm also wearing a bathrobe, but it's just really, really starting to get hot already. I have my air conditioner is connected via HomeKit, which is the Apple home automation system. And then, but I don't really use that Apple HomeKit stuff. What I use is Home Assistant, but there's a bridge that you can install. So now my air conditioner is tied into Home Assistant as well. So I can turn it on remotely, but then also if I forget to turn it off at the end of the night, I have a timer that automatically shuts it off like after normal work hours, so I don't just like run the air conditioner in my office all night. Oh, I don't know what that means. I know what the hi Sean part means. Hello, Lewis. I hope you're doing well. You are enjoying a lunch break probably, and I am super tired and just trying to wake myself up. I am not a morning person, even though I find that I'm. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I would. What is the good morning? I know. I used to know Spanish. I used to know greetings in Spanish, which I know is not Portuguese, but um, well, if I say good morning, you speak perfectly fluent English. So, good morning. Uh, um, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, it's just I'm not a morning person. It's funny, when I wake up in the morning, I tend to get a lot more done. Um, in a training session. Oh, are you remote? Are you like in your remote office, or are you like on site in the training, and if you're live streaming something and you are like at an event physically, wow, that's bold. But I assume you're probably at home and the training is going in another window. At least I hope that's what it is. Design thinking. Design thinking. Is this like developer related, like design thinking, or are you changing careers to home design? Let's see, in the actual office, but attending that training session in a new window. Okay. All right. Huh. So do you normally go into an office? For some reason, I thought you worked remotely usually, but maybe do you normally go into an office? I guess I could have. Maybe I made my assumptions during the pandemic when almost everybody worked remotely. Oh, for UX people, which I mean, I think all UX people should definitely go to things like that, because UX is something that is I think, so easy to overlook, especially for nerdy people. And I include both you and me into that group. If something is functional, the aesthetics kind of aren't something we think about, which makes sense why you're not terribly excited or interested in it. But when something is designed really, really well, it's cool. You don't notice it. It's one of those things that, like, when a UX is perfect, you don't ever notice the UX. It just, you know what I mean? It kind of fades away, and that's what you want it to do. Kind of like the IT world in general. When things are working, you don't think about them. You just, integrate them and use them in your everyday life. It's only when things are crappy or broken that you like focus on IT. So, yeah, kudos to the team in charge of user experience for doing that. I have a number of hours of mandatory training during the year. Oh, okay, yeah, mandatory training. I get that. So this is actually true. I think the main clientele for CBT Nuggets these days are big corporations who have their employees do mandatory training, and CBT Nuggets now has a lot of built-in tools for logging, like when employees log training, like they get like a master administrative listing of who has done what training for how long and that sort of thing. So I think a lot of the corporate I have to attend training are now CBT Nuggets training videos. And I mean, there could be a lot worse mandatory training, because CBT Nuggets videos are generally interesting. The trainers are generally pretty decent trainers, so that's pretty good. Good morning, Mary. I'm sorry I missed it that you were here. So good morning, good morning. Here, I have my window slidden over for some reason. Slide it back over closer to the camera. About working at the office. Now I have 2 days per week at the actual office. All right. Is it a long commute for you? Is the office fairly close? And like, do you have to drive, or is there public transport, or you don't have to share any of that? I'm just curious. 9 kilometers. So you either drive or take some kind of transport. If you're walking to work 9 kilometers every morning, even 2 days a week, that's impressive. I guess you could ride a bike. Did you have a scooter? Oh, there, yeah, okay. Uh, electric. Is that like an electric scooter? I thought it was a gas, like little motorcycle. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was electric, which is just cool. And I'm not sure. Oh, it's an actual car. Wait, do you have like an EV, like an electric vehicle? I'm not sure what you mean by power tool. Do you? It's tool. All right, I did miss something. I apologize, but nonetheless, driving. Uh, oh, okay. Oh, see, now you gave like a model number. Now I got to look it up because we got to see that. Hold on. Browser window. Drag this window. And we'll switch. Yeah, I was not prepared. I'm going to a live stream and I do not feel prepared. All right, here we go. Oh, I see that. I now have comments popped up on the screen, which is cool. All right. Let's see. It's a MG5 electric car. Let's see if we can find a picture. Let's see. Huh. It looks cool. I mean, yeah, it looks cute. I've never heard of an MG brand. This must be a brand that hasn't made it to the U.S. That's even the color you have. Wow. That is cool. What kind of range do you get? And you have you do have a garage. If I know you're in an apartment or something like that, but you have like garage space, I think, on the ground floor. And did you have to install a special charger? Because I think most other countries have 220 volts or 240 volts standard. So maybe it's not that big of a deal to add a charger. But I'm also curious, in Europe, what is the charger standard? Like, do you have the same gosh, I don't remember the letters, charger, and like switching over to the Tesla style, now that they open sourced it? Oh, there's a Chinese made car. MG is an old brand. You do have a garage, and I charge it off the regular. Oh, wow. Okay, 220 volt, 15 amp socket. Nice. I mean, it probably takes overnight or longer to charge, but as long as you're not constantly driving it and not using the entire battery, that probably works fine. That's pretty cool. So, and you probably already know this, but here in the U.S., while 220 volts is standard to the house, most of our household outlets are 110 volts. We only take half of the voltage per outlet. But for large appliances, you can actually run both legs of the transformer and get the full 220 volts. But that's not standard to all of the outlets in our house. And so if you have a device like a clothes dryer or an electric stove, you have to have a special circuit run. You know all about our Okay, power delivery systems. Yeah, it's strange, and I'm not sure how or why it happened that way. I don't understand what having 110 volt single phase. I don't. Well, we have. So that's the weird thing too. We do have neutral, but it's halfway between the two phases, and so they literally it's just a 220 volt transformer, and then there's a tap in the middle of the transformer, and so if you use the 220 volts, I mean they say we have two phase 220, but it's really just a 220 volt transformer, and it's almost like we have two half phases to get the 110 volts, because it's just the one transformer, and then they literally tap the very middle of the coil for our neutral for the 110. So yeah, it's weird, but both my flat and the garage are probably not the same phase as the whole building. Is 3-phase, 400 volts total. Okay. Yeah, and 3-phase, I'll be honest, 3-phase is the one that starts to confuse me, because you can get 3-phase power in here in the US, but it's 208 volts for some reason. I mean, there's a reason that when I look it up, I kind of comprehend why it happens. So our 3-phase is only 208 volts, and then like and then like you get 2 phases to get 110. It's really, really weird. Also, the car charges in 3-phase mode, 16 amp, which makes 11 kilowatts total charging power. Oh, okay. That's cool. And you have that right to your building. Oh, it can charge that way, but you don't charge it that way, correct? Like you are using the standard single phase 220 volt 15 amp circuit that you talked about, but the car also has the ability to charge using 3-phase. Okay. Oh, you have those chargers in the office. Oh, so you can charge your car in the office. Like when you come in, you just like hook it up and use their electricity? Or do you have to pay for the electricity? Because that's kind of a cool deal. I mean, you could use the car, all week, as long as you don't have too far to drive. Oh, that's nice. And then just completely top it off at work. So you could, depending on how much you drive outside of work, even just working in the office a couple days a week, you could probably run fully on office electricity. Unless you get, you might start to get range anxiety if you like let it run low all week and then like limp into the you charge your car every week for free. Yeah, I think that's a pretty slick way to go. And a nice little bonus too. I don't know how much electricity costs where you live, but yeah, that would be pretty slick. Just like, oh, I'm gonna let me check my car. No, I'm gonna work a little bit late today. Didn't spend over 3. That's awesome. That's incredible. Very, very cool. And yeah, with an EV that you can charge at work, 9 kilometers is like nothing, right? Is it busy? Sorry to have you dominate the live stream here, but I got nothing else going. So I'm just curious. When you have to drive the 9 kilometers, is it through really busy traffic? Yeah, one reason to come to the office, absolutely. We still do not have a... Oh, you have CCS. I missed the thing about... and you even knew the initials. We have CCS2 in here. Even Teslas use CCS2. No NACS. Okay. In fact, NACS might stand for North America something. I don't even remember, like the NA in NACS. But CCS2. Now I'm curious what the CCS2 that we're going to do some more. Oh, no. Oh, dang it. Okay. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. I mean, it looks, obviously it's different, but it looks kind of similar to our current standard. Like it's, I don't think many cars have switched over to NACS yet, but like with the high voltage DC on the bottom and then the, wait, that's all CCS1. Okay, yeah, the J1772 is what I was thinking. So now I'm curious. J1772 versus CCS2. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, scroll down, dang it. Oh, look at you. You knew exactly what. All right. All right. I see. I see. And then we're switching to next. Do you think that the rest of the world will switch to NACS? Do you think that'll happen? Or is there any talk about that at all? Because I'm curious. I'm surprised that there were only a not a chance. Interesting. See, I had that thought about switching to NACS because, well, I'll be honest, Elon Musk, while before he became more public, I thought, oh, what a cool guy. Now, obviously, I do not have that feeling towards Elon Musk. And I thought, why would we switch to the Tesla style? That's just stupid. But it's open now, and I guess it would be cool. Yeah, so fewer and fewer people give a flying flip about Tesla over here, but the like I watched Alec on Technology Connections YouTube channel talk about the NACS connector, and he was he's never been a fan of the Tesla, but he is a fan of the NACS connector, which fascinated me. So anyway, I have this Mac that I have right now is a Mac Studio M2, I think. Yeah, it's got to be the M2. Not the biggest one. So like M2 Pro, I think. But it has 64 gigabytes of shared RAM. Yeah, it's a decent one. Here's the thing about Alec. Did you know he ran Savone in of every video? I honestly haven't seen I've seen quite a few of his videos, only because we share a lot of the same passions, like heat pump technology. I am far more interested and pro solar than he is, but he rants in the end of the video. I've seen through the end of I've seen some of his the outtakes that he puts at the end of them, but yeah, I haven't watched a lot of them recently. I've been too crazy busy with work, but I'll have to do that. I'll have to watch all the way to the end. But yeah, it's not the outtakes. Okay, I will definitely have to watch like all the way to the end then. And yeah, I share a lot of the same passions he does, which I'm guessing you do too. I mean, birds of a feather kind of flock together. But he's not as keen on solar as I am. I'm kind of a big fan of solar, and I understand his passion because having a dependable, affordable, equitable, robust grid system that everyone can take advantage of is nice. And I think that solar does, the concept of solar power does leave out those who couldn't afford or don't have the space for it. But just the idea of switching to a more and more solar power, I am more keen on than he is. But nonetheless, What about the windscreen wipers? Oh, I haven't even seen that video. So I'll have to watch that. Was it recent? Oh shoot, yeah, I can switch. I'm sorry. Are you tired of seeing your car there over and over? But now I kind of want to see. I'm not going to be logged in, but let's see. Technology, connections, window wipers. All right, I'm going to leave that window there so that I can watch it later. Well, yeah. All right, my big fat face here. All right. Yeah, I think the first video I ever saw of Alex, which is that channel Technology Connections, was on heat pumps, because I was already, reading about the current efficiency of like newer heat pumps in really cold weather, because I live in a really cold environment, and heat pumps traditionally were not as good in as the temperature gets really cold. And that's still the case, but they're getting much, much better. And I wanted to, and he had like, a more modern and well-researched take on it. So that was the very first thing I ever saw him talk about. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty cool. All right, I'll see if I can get it going in that window, and then, so I have YouTube Premium, and I know we've talked about this, or I never see ads. It's so funny when I'm not logged in, like on my account, like this browser window is not my account, and so it's not logged in. But it's funny because I'm not used to seeing ads in YouTube. Okay, after the outtakes. All right, there we go. All right, we can go. That sounds impossible. Yeah, it was too quick. Okay. Oh gosh, stop. All right. Well, everybody will have to go look up his channel and then look at the end of the video and watch with subtitles. Because if Lewis says it's funny, I believe him. Oh gosh, how do I get this to stop playing? I'm struggling to get this silly thing to stop. There we go. Okay. Nonetheless, I think I have I don't know why it went so fast. Maybe I have it on playing fast too. So nevertheless, yeah, it's good. If I was a proper YouTuber, I would say, I'll put the link in the description. But I'm not a proper. I could have just pasted it in the chat too, but now I already closed the window. And the reason I closed the window is because I'm curious enough that I'm not gonna just forget to do it. So I'll actually watch it and listen to him rant too. I am on Twitch. Oh, thank you. Yes. And Lewis, you should be able to now. You should be able to post a link. I don't know if everybody can, but you should definitely be able to, Lewis, because you're a moderator. Vishal, did that? If you're still there, did that answer your question? I don't know the exact model number. I got this when I went back to CBT Nuggets. If I go back over here, here's the about screen. It is the Apple M2 Max, 64 gigabytes of memory. It's not a super big hard drive because I have an external uh, an external one that is pretty quick. I have an NVMe and an enclosure, and it's connected via the fastest USB that the M2 Max has, and so it's really quick for even for an external drive. But yeah, I wanted the memory because that was something I couldn't upgrade with like a external storage. So yeah, that's the Mac that I have. And my face disappeared too because I was trying to get it out of the way. There's my face back so I don't forget next time. Anyway, yeah, that's that. All right, cool. Yes, and Vishal, it's been a really nice machine. I have no complaints about it, other than I wish I hadn't installed the beta operating systems, because I have several programs that just won't start now. Like they just fail. And I don't know if it's that the program needs to be updated or if the operating system is experiencing, bugs on certain security things that they're trying to access. But in general, yeah, the computer itself is great. And I never had that problem where it wouldn't start up until I installed the beta version of the operating system. So it's been great. Yeah, it's been great. It's fast. It supports a lot of monitors. I have 5 monitors connected to it. I have 2 30-inch larger than 4K monitors, and then I have a 27-inch monitor that I have in portrait mode on the side, and then I have my Wacom tablet, which is it's a small one, but I actually like the smaller Wacom tablets. It's a 13-inch 1080p Wacom tablet, and then that my 5th monitor is actually not. It's a display link. It actually connects over USB, so maybe that doesn't count as an actual monitor, but that monitor is part of my teleprompter, the Elgato teleprompter, and so yeah, so I actually have 5 monitors all connected. But like I said, that teleprompter monitor is connected using display link over USB. It doesn't actually use the onboard video devices. So I don't know how many actual video monitors it supports, but at least 4, because I have 4 straight up monitors connected. All right, Lewis, you have a good day too. You have to leave. That's fine. Enjoy your training that you're not really watching, and yeah, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And tomorrow I'll be doing my comic. I don't know, you might already be gone, but I'm doing my comic tomorrow. But I still, talk, and I should see chat and stuff. So yeah, I'll just be drawing my comic as long as it takes me. And my wife, but normally Donna doesn't work on Thursdays, but for the second week in a row, she is working on Thursdays. So I might not get to finish the comic before I end the live stream, because I have to help get her ready. And, well, I mean, she's a big girl. She can get ready on her own, but I have to drive her to work, because that way I have a vehicle, and also parking is not free downtown. So I generally drive her down to work on days that she works. So yeah, nonetheless. The thing, Vishal, if you're still there, again, if I'm not saying your name right, please correct me. I apologize, but I like the Apple Silicon processors a lot. Very efficient. I also have just the cheapest low end M1 Air MacBook Air. Like they sell them at Walmart for, like, when I got it, it was like $6.99, and it only has 8 gigabytes of shared RAM, and like 256 gigs of storage. But for just a laptop, for like browsing the web and using a terminal and stuff, it's amazing, and the battery lasts so long. It's a very, very nice laptop, and it was the cheapest Mac laptop I've ever purchased as well. So that was nice. But yeah, this the Studio, the Apple Silicon can be frustrating if you're used to being able to run like virtualization, because obviously it's ARM based. So you have to like think through that. Like usually it's not a problem with something like Linux because, there's Linux is available for ARM architecture, but I've run into issues with some of the stuff. Um, and it's better than it used to be, but still emulation on the ARM machine is, I'm pronouncing it right. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's one of those things that really bothers me with a name I'm unfamiliar with. And people are usually really kind, so they'll just let me keep saying it wrong. But yeah, that's not my intent. So anyway, but yeah, with virtualization has been one of the only things that has been really difficult. And you know what? Now that I'm talking about it, that might be why my Nintendo emulator wouldn't start. It could be because emulation often, well, I don't know. It probably doesn't use virtualization. It would probably work in Rosetta on the Mac. I don't know. I don't know why it wasn't working. But like I said, I've had a lot of apps that don't open properly because I'm on the beta of the operating system. But yeah, I wasn't so sure if Apple Silicon was going to be a smooth transition, but my goodness, do they just work really, really nicely. And while the Mac Studio here is super powerful, the MacBook Air, for some reason, has been more impressive to me just because it was relatively low cost, especially for an Apple laptop. But it'll last. I mean, the battery lasts just forever. Like I'll forget to, plug it in for days, and I don't use the laptop all day. But like if I'm not in my office, I'll just grab it to do stuff, and the battery just lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And it's even the lowest end original M1 laptop still is perfectly fine for things like browsing and running a handful of applications. Sometimes Chrome, if I'm doing a lot of things, will start to fill up the RAM. But even then, it seems to do a good job of managing the memory. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the Apple Silicon devices, and it works far better than I expected it to. Because I mean, I'm an old guy. I remember when they switched from the PowerPC processor to the Intel processors, and that transition was a little tougher. They did have Rosetta, where it would run PowerPC designed applications like Little Endian. I don't know all the nuances of how things are done, but it was a huge transition, and they had like an emulation layer called Rosetta, which they might call it Rosetta 2 now, where it goes from Intel to the Apple Silicon. But it was rough, and it didn't work great. It worked surprisingly well, but it worked kind of wonky. And the original, the earlier OS 10 versions were kind of clunkier anyway. So that whole transition, what I don't remember, and if you're a Mac person, maybe you know, what did pre-OS 10 ever run on Intel? I don't think so. I think all the OS 9 stuff required a PowerPC. I'm trying to think if any of the Intel stuff, maybe it did though. Maybe you could run Mac OS 9 on an Intel machine, because I wrote software for people to log in, and it required a Mac OS 8 or 9. But I think we did have a couple Intel Mac Minis, and I think they would still run OS 9. I don't remember that. Battery life is definitely a different class. Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't normally notice a huge difference on battery life, except that once batteries start aging, they die quicker. But it's so drastically better with again, and I only have the original M1, slowest, cheapest, everything M1 processor. And yeah, it is just night and day when it comes to how long that battery lasts. It's shocking. I love that laptop. since we're talking about nerdy Apple stuff. Got a couple minutes left. My go-to laptop before that was an 11-inch MacBook Air from 2012. And I have used that laptop got it new in 2012, and it was CBT Nuggets actually bought it for me, and it was a top of the line MacBook Air, but the 11-inch, I really liked having the small portability of the 11-inch MacBook Air, but it was an i7 processor, and it had 16 megabytes of RAM. I think it was 16. It might have only been 8, but I think it was 16 megabytes of RAM, and it was maxed out at the time, but it was the 11-inch, so it was super portable, and I used that every day for so long. It didn't even have a 1080p display. It wasn't high enough resolution for that, but it was still so nice that I used it just about every day. And I was sad because it wouldn't run a new enough operating system to run the most recent version of some software that I use. Specifically, I use a program called Ulysses for writing, and it wouldn't support the latest version of Ulysses, and so I was sad. And then before I went out to the CBT Nuggets headquarters back in May, I'm like, I need to have a laptop, but this one is just not going to do it anymore. So I went to Walmart and I got just their cheapest M1. I have a friend who works at Apple, and he said, hey, it's, for the price, it's still a really good laptop, even though it's several years old. And so I bought it, and I have no regrets. And yeah, even though I appreciated the size of the 11-inch MacBook Air, I have the 13-inch now, and it doesn't seem too big. I thought it was going to seem big and clunky, but it doesn't. It's very thin, and 13 inches is not too big. It's still just as portable as the 11-inch was. It's thinner than my 11-inch MacBook Air was, and so I think that kind of makes part of the difference. But anyway, yeah, they make amazing hardware. And it's actually getting better, if anything. But it is funny that I remember the transition from PowerPC to Intel, and now they transitioned away from Intel. So that's interesting. I wonder how I have a friend who works at Intel, and I wonder that had to be a panic moment for Intel, at least to a degree, where Apple was no longer going to use their processors in all of their computers. So I don't know. I'm sure it was responsible for one of their huge layoffs, but nonetheless. Yeah, so now I'm all thinking about Apple stuff, and if you haven't, it doesn't have a fan. You're right. And not only, is like, no fan means that it's going to use less electricity because fans use electricity, and it's going to be quieter because of that. The big thing about the fan is that, they suck in dust, and eventually they get clogged and they don't work well. And then it's like an opening to the inside of the computer. Whereas I don't think the passive cooling gets nearly the dust sucked into the device. And of course, there's no fan to break. So yeah, absolutely. They're cooler in every way, both literally and figuratively. But yeah, so I use, I have a subscription to Set app, which you're probably familiar with, or at least have heard of. And I like to use Set app because of a couple different applications. I used to use a program called Downy all the time, like to download videos from YouTube, but now I just use YT-DLP, like YouTube downloader, the command line version. It works even better than Downy. But the other thing that I really use my Set app subscription for is Ulysses. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Ulysses is just it's a simple markdown program, but it allows you to drag, like if you're writing a book, you can drag chapters or scenes around and like reorder them and then export the entire thing as one. So anyway, I'm a huge Ulysses fan. Good morning, Caesar. Good morning. Sorry that it's just like the tail end of the live stream here. Tomorrow I'll be live streaming again at 7 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow's when I draw my comic, so I'll be here again, but I'll be drawing the comic, which I enjoy. I don't know if it's any fun to watch me draw the comic, but I really enjoy drawing my comic, and doing it on the live stream kind of gives me a reason to not feel guilty taking the time to draw the comic. I think that's part of the reason I haven't been drawing it for so long, is that I'm busy, and it kind of felt self-indulgent. But for some reason, if I'm live streaming, like, oh no, this is now my job that I'm not really getting paid for. So I feel a little bit better about drawing the comic. So yeah, I still can't believe that I drew my comic 6 days a week for like almost 2 years. That just blows my mind. But I was also waking up at 5 a.m. every day, which also blows my mind. So anyway, I hope that everybody has a great day. It is, it's going to be a busy day for me. I might turn on the live stream later today just to keep myself on track. I'm making Kubernetes content for CBT Nuggets, and sometimes I live stream myself making content just to just as an accountability thing to keep myself on track. So yeah, if you get notifications on any of the channels I'm streaming on now, you might see me go online, and it'll mainly just be me doing my day job, but streaming it. I'll occasionally stop and talk, but you can see me train if you want. And with that, I guess I'll close up the live stream. I'm glad that we had some conversation today. I know Lewis is already gone, but appreciate that. And Vishal, thank you for tuning in, and it looks like you stayed here the whole time. So, everybody have a great day, and I will hopefully do some live streaming a little bit later of myself being productive at my day job, but we'll see. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. I mean, I'm going to be productive. That's not the question. It's whether or not I'm going to live stream it. All right, have a good day. See everybody tomorrow morning, if nothing else. Have a great day.